All right, we should be live. Thank y'all for joining us today. We are UnitEDtech, or some of UnitEDtech, because there are many of us and we're all connected. And I'm Cori Coburn-Shiflett, and I'm coming to you today from Beaumont, Texas. That's Southeast Texas. I'm an educational technologist with Georgetown ISD. I'm also an officer with TCA's TechSig, and I have with me right now two of my members of my PLN, and I will give you a chance to introduce yourselves. Whoever wants to go first. No hurry.
Hi, everybody. My name is Crystal Morgan, also known as Morgan Da Vinci. I am a campus instructional coach for mathematics at the largest high school in the state of Texas, that is Skyline High School in Dallas ISD. About 85% of the districts in the state of Texas are smaller than the district, smaller than the they're just smaller than the size of my campus. We have 5,000 students. I service 35 math teachers and 35 non-core teachers, provide professional development not only on my campus but for the district level. I've been doing workshops for the district now for about 7 years. I use technology consistently, even though my focus is mathematics. It is a pleasure to be here and surrounded by such wonderful women who are so wonderfully talented.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Thomas, and I am a high school, it sounds so weird saying that, I am a high school technology teacher at one of our 3 magnet programs in our county. It's my first time in that position. I'm going to be starting in approximately 2 weeks there, so I'm very, very excited about this. I am loving the group that we have here today. Thank you so much for putting this together and for having me on. These 2 ladies, I draw a lot of knowledge and and advice from them constantly. So thank y'all so much for having me.
Well, real life happens, and everybody who signed up could not be here today. But I want to keep the conversation casual, and it is an honor to be part of EdCamp Global. Been joining on and off since it started. I know Sarah's been on EdCamp Global pretty much all day, and it's been a blast. And we have people on Twitter that are following the conversation, so feel free to use our hashtag POCEdTech. POCEDTECH. Um, and you may follow us under our general tweet account, the UnitEDtech PLN. I'm kind of tired. We just finished a in-person ed camp yesterday. I'm still kind of tired, but I wanted to keep the conversation kind of casual, and we've often had the discussion of the importance of connecting. We have similar experiences and we have unique experiences, but since we generally started to organize as a PLN, what has changed in your life? Anybody can take that.
Hey, I can say what has changed in my life, and then I'm going to ask Carla to go ahead because she hasn't introduced herself. With being connected and being a math, I'm not a specialist, but I'm a specialist. You know, what's in the title doesn't really matter as much as it is what I'm passionate about. I've been exposed to so much technology being in this group, and I've actually learned how to facilitate Mac, the iOS. Like I'm actually on a Mac on my MacBook Air right now with this Hangout. And when I first met this group, I was Team Android and PC all the way. I'm still Team Android till I die. However, I do give iOS their props. There are a lot of great things that I've learned how to accomplish using these tools and being exposed to different people in technology. So I definitely want to say that just being connected to other individuals whose experience can enhance my experience has been a great, great plus for me.
Okay, we have Carla popped in. Yay, Carla. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carla Jefferson. I am a first year instructional technology coordinator in South Carolina. And before that, I spent uh, 16, 17 years as a teacher, curriculum facilitator, and an administrator for special needs. I have to say that this group has been really amazing to me because in the area where I live, there aren't a lot of instructional technology coaches. It just hasn't, we haven't progressed that far yet. So I've been able to like find a community that can share amazing ideas and give feedback about my ideas since I don't have anyone else to bounce them off on right now. And then the fact that everybody is just supportive, they also open this the group also opens my eyes because everybody's experience and situation is different, and so it does me really good to hear feedback from other people in other places who have similar experiences and totally different experiences, and that helps me to in turn to help the teachers that I work with.
I'm so glad you could join us. It's all ladies today. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask about is do you feel there are unique challenges for people of color who are trying to gain leadership roles in educational technology? Just throw that out there for anybody.
I can speak for South Carolina. Yes, and only because there there aren't very many opportunities in general. And so, like when I visit conferences locally, um, there aren't very many people that look like me. So, and even as I branch out into other places, like regionally and nationally, I still don't see a lot of people who look like me. I sometimes feel like I have to prove myself a little more, where that had never been an issue before, like proving myself. So it's definitely been an eye opener for me.
This is casual, so anyone else who wants to jump in.
I say Sarah speak up because we haven't heard from her yet. So I'm just curious about her journey through this technology exposure as a person of color.
Yeah, I just wrote in the chat that for this question, I don't really have a lot to contribute because my county is majority people of color, so my experience is different from what I just heard Carla say. My professional experience has been different. However, growing up, and that's a totally separate topic, so I'm not even going to get into that right now. And even when I go in different places around the country, then I do see more of the different of the different challenges going on at that particular time. But where I work, then I haven't.
Well, I've recently moved from Southeast Texas to Austin, Texas. And when I was in Southeast Texas, I did not really feel there were um, people in educational technology that I immediately knew that were trying to become um, leaders in the field. It just seemed like everyone that I had a chance to meet was content to get by, and everyone that was given to us, presented to us as an expert, was not a person of color. And I felt really isolated. And that really changed when I got on Twitter, because as we all know, Twitter's a happening place to be for an educator. And it was easier to find people who were like me, who had similar experiences but different experiences. And with all these great new tools, we're starting to connect more. It's like, especially on Voxer, where we have a constant conversation to help us stay on top of things. And have you seen this? Or have you heard of this conference? And this is the pedagogy we have behind doing this way. And that's been really awesome, and I'm forever changed, and I feel like I'm a better version of myself because of our connection. Um, is there anything in particular uh, anyone is doing to become more connected? We are all over so many platforms talking to so many people, but is there anything active that you're doing now to continue your network connections?
Well, I can say as a person of color that my issue in my district really isn't the person of color as much as it is gender. So when I think that we're talking about the fact that there are standards and certain people that qualify for positions instantly, I think gender plays a role for me. That it's a barrier for me. Um, I know that when it comes to the technology positions in our district, and that majority of them are men, not necessarily stating that they are more qualified for the position, but when you look around the tech positions, they're men. When you look around the content positions, you see more women. So I don't know if that balances it out. But your question was getting connected, and that was my goal to try to answer the previous question. When it comes to being connected, I've basically everything that I'm a part of with you guys, I try to implement. Like I'm using Voxer as a back channel for professional development in everything that I do, whether it's on campus based, whether it's district based, or whether it's something that I'm contracting out to do. I create a Voxer group for that, and I'm learning from this group consistently. Like I want you guys to tell me how I make a lower third that shows my name because I don't have one, and I'm like, okay, I need to learn how to do that. I'm excited, but I definitely think that being connected with you guys has changed my perception of the approach to the traditional way my content, which is mathematics, is approached. Um, we are so we're so caught up on process and finding the correct solution that we're not necessarily connecting to our kids in the way that they see the world and we see the world through their devices and through their hands, and challenging people to step outside of their traditional walls and expand their world has become the big issue as far as not just that being connected is the solution, but it will provide you with more resources on how to address that classroom management issue with kids, because there are people that are using that tool to be more successful in their work environment.
There's a little audio trouble on your end, Crystal, but we just had Rochelle to walk in, and she is sitting in the dark.
I'm sorry.
If you're ready, please introduce yourself. Oh no, we lost her.
Is that a
Oh no.
little better?
Yes.
If I turn on some lights. What all would you like me to include in my introduction?
Who you are, where you are, and what do you do?
All right. So I'm Rochelle Wooden. I'm from the Houston, Texas area. I'm actually in Fort Bend ISD, which is a suburb southwest of Houston. I'm a digital learning specialist there, which means pretty much, I always tell folks I have the privilege of working with both teachers and students. I get to teach in a classroom from time to time, doing model lessons of tech integration projects, but I also get to work with teachers designing and developing and facilitating professional development.
That is great. We've kept it really casual and asked a few questions, but since you're here now, my question to you is about when did you become a connected educator, and did you have any difficulty finding people of color in EdTech when you became a connected educator?
I probably became a connected educator. It probably was winter of 2012. I remember being on a vacation with my family. We went to Branson, Missouri, which was also another interesting place because I don't remember seeing too many people of color there. But I remember getting on Twitter, and I'd been on Twitter on like a personal Twitter account. I have a church member who's big into that, and so she kind of helped me to see its value just when I was doing a kind of mom blog and podcast. And so then I'll never forget, I think I was applying for an Apple Distinguished Educator program at the time, and so I was looking for more things that were ed tech related. And oh my gosh, that's when the bug hit me. But sadly, it was a while before I found some other educators of color in social media. But Franz was probably the first one because she and I both would participate in the Smart Exemplary Educator chat. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, there is one out there, you know? And just gradually I began to meet some other ones. But I think it took a while, you know, because once I even started, it wasn't like I was a power user. You know, at the time I would just kind of get on there, find good stuff, and that kind of thing. But when I actually started participating in chats, especially the Smarty one, that's when I found that there were other educators out there using Twitter that looked like me.
Well, I'm going to shoot another question out there to the group. When um, I have a very large PLN, probably not as large as Sarah's, because I can't follow everybody, but I follow a lot of people, and a lot of them are people of color, and some are not people of color. And lately, I've actually had conversations with people who are not people of color who ask me, why is it so important that I have a specific PLN that are people of color in ed tech? So does anybody want to share their reason of what it means to have a PLN that are people of color in ed tech, like you?
I'll answer that, Cori. I think when you are a minority in a situation, you want to find, well, not even a minority, as who you are, you tend to gravitate towards people who are a lot like you, whether it's race, whether it's interest, you know, motivation, hobbies. You tend to gravitate to people who have the same interests as you because they're the people who can provide a support system for you. So like, you know, even we as techies, we gravitate toward techie people. And because we are people of color, then we also then gravitate to people of color because they can provide that support base. They are going through the same issues, you know, that we are going through. And so like, even, you know, when I talk about my district, I mean, right now the number of teachers in general that are effectively using technology in their classroom, I can probably come up with about 7 names out of 900 teachers. So right now the focus is like just finding teachers in general who are willing to make that change, to make that switch. I asked the administrator of another school. I said, "Can you give me one name of a teacher that's using technology?" Their school has 1,200 students, probably 75, 80 teachers, and she could not come up with one. So, you know, you try to build a support base for yourself. People that think like you, that have the same mindset as you, that you can help and that can help you. And so I think, you know, when you look at people who are not people of color, you look at the number of people that they hang out with, they hang out or spend time with people who look like them. So I don't understand why it should be an issue for us.
I'd like to address that too, Cori. Is that okay? Okay. Kind of in line with what Carla was saying, I think in a lot of things you want to connect with people of like minds. And we have to remember almost the education sector, as far as teachers, period, it's not like there's a very high population of African American or people of color that are in education. Still, the majority of educators, I believe, in the U.S. is still mostly white American. And so if you then start making subsets or subgroups within that population, looking at ed tech, it almost still looks the same way, if not even smaller. And so it's a gem to be able to find a community of like-minded people who are like me. I hate to almost say that word. I'm not trying to be redundant, but you know what I mean? When I say like-minded, that's the mindset, of course, that we operate in, but also to look like me physically. That's like an added bonus. It's like icing on cake, you know? So, and then to be a part of this community right here where, like among my own district, I mean, I'm not the only one, thank goodness, because we're a very diverse school district. I mean, we probably make up African Americans are probably close to 30% of our district, and Hispanics make up a high 20, very equally almost diverse across the whole board. But so I'm not the only one that looks like me. But when I tell you, when I can talk to this group about, hey, have you applied for this certification or this certification? I mean, like, we are on top of it. We are continually staying relevant. And I just don't even find that just even in my own school district. Teachers who are just eager to learn and seek out opportunities. So when I say kind of like-minded, that means they're already kind of driven. They want to stay relevant. They want to make an impact. They want to increase their impact. And then on top of that, you look like me? Oh my gosh, I have struck gold. You know, so it's priceless.
Anyone else want to chime in why it's important?
Did we fix my mic situation? Can you hear me now?
You sound pretty good.
Awesome. It's important to me because, first of all, being a person of color that teaches math and specialized math in math is very rare. And seeing math teachers that do blended instruction and use technology is even more rare. So, of course, just like everyone has said, when I see someone that looks like me that's mastered something that will only amplify what's important for our kids, then that's why being in a group with someone that I can look at and say, he and she looks like me. He and she have went through the same struggles that I've went through. He and she have met the same challenges, just because when you walk into the room, someone assumes that, you know, you're not who you say you are. Because I've worn the title coach for 8 years now, of course, most people think that I'm a basketball coach because I'm 6'1". And I'm like, actually, I'm a math coach. And the look on their face is like, you're what? I said, I coach mathematics. Just like every other sport in life, in every other thing in life, you have specialists. So basically, a math coach is a specialist, a math specialist. So when I get a chance to, I don't really see a lot of people like me in mathematics. And it's sad that there's not a lot of us in technology, but there's even fewer of us in mathematics. So to find someone that looked like me that has the skill set that can amplify my ability to impact kids in the area that I'm in, then that's why it's important to me.
Okay, the mic is still open to anyone who want to add on to that.
That was good, Crystal. I was putting in the notes over there, though. I mean, we hear in the media a lot about the Obama effect and how having an African American as the president just kind of opened up so many young students' eyes. You know, probably African American period. You didn't even have to be a male, but it showed them that it was possible. And, you know, and I think it's that same way, which is one of the reasons why, as being a part of this community and us looking to help each other out, share, retweet, you know what I mean, promote, support in any way possible, we're helping to let other people know there are other people out there and the impact that they have, so that they can also show people and show students and show teachers who are, you know, not so tech savvy and so open to integrating technology that look like us, to say, hey, it's possible. You know what I mean? You don't have to stay on the worksheet track, no matter what demographic group we serve, no matter if they're low socioeconomic. It's still possible for us to have a campus that can excel, you know, and that can use technology in innovative ways. So it's that whole, like I said, I just think it's the Obama effect, you know, in essence, you know what I mean? Is where other people are out there paving the way, being that front runner, but it's to show the people behind them and after them, these are some opportunities that are afforded and available. Go after them. I'm just a model to let you know it can happen.
I agree that you are a dynamic model, because I'm a troll. I guess that's what is it? No, I'm a lurker. I'm not a troll. I'm a lurker. I'm learning the terminology. I watch what you tweet. I watch what Cori tweets. I watch what all 4 of you tweet, as a matter of fact, and then the rest of the members in our PLN. I'm always watching what you guys are doing, and part of me goes, damn, I'm a stalker. Excuse my language. Dog, you're a stalker. And I'm like, no, I'm not a stalker. I just really want to learn. And you guys are always exposing so many things that I would have never heard of had I not been a part of this group. So, and I constantly state, you don't know what you don't know until you start trying to find out what you don't know. So it's important, and I'm much more comfortable around people that look like me asking questions than I am people that don't look like me, because I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be judged for asking a question and someone look at me and state, oh, you don't know what that is? Oh, you've never heard that? No, and that's why I'm asking, because I haven't heard it. So don't try to make me feel inferior just because I don't know the terminology that you know. Doesn't mean I can't learn it, but I don't want to have to feel like I need to justify myself, and I don't want to take the defensive stance. I want to be comfortable and I want to be relaxed when I'm learning. So that's why it's important to me to be around people that look like me.
Okay, well, we have people watching, and they are uh, sharing their comments and questions, and we greatly appreciate that. One that was thrown out there is everyone's Twitter handle. I know Carla and Sarah have theirs posted, I think, in this Hangout, but I will also make sure everybody is tagged in a tweet. We also have a Google Plus community that if you contact one of us, we will put you in touch on how to join that community. Did anybody bring a question to this Hangout that's on the panel?
If you guys tell me how to do a lower third, I'll put my Twitter handle up. But no. My question to you guys is: the majority of you have come from it's a very diverse group, and when you took these technology positions away from the core content that you used to teach, how do you ensure that this information that you are specializing in is still intertwined with the core content that you come from, your original background? How do you keep that pure and make sure that it's not, the focus is not on the technology, but it's on the content and how the tools can help enhance the content? That would be my question to you guys.
I think it's really important to be grounded in a solid pedagogy philosophy, because so many people get caught up in the tools, and that is not what being an EdTech or an instructional technologist is about. We have to stay on top of our trade. We have to do the research. We have to make sure we're spending times in the classroom, not just in conferences and professional development. But I think being connected also helps you keep that focus, because whenever you seem to get off task, we hold each other accountable for what we do. Did anyone else want to add on to that?
I guess I'll add a little something. You said pretty much everything I was going to say, but I was just going to add to that we just need to figure out what the goal is. What's the goal? How can we best meet that goal? Sometimes it involves technology. Sometimes it does not involve technology. We just have to see, like, what is the best path from point A to point B. And when we figure out what we want the students to learn and what we want them to be able to do or demonstrate as a result of their learning, then, we find out the best tools for the, to reach that. So it could be tech, could not be tech. It all depends.
I think Sarah hit it just right. I mean, one, you do always have to have a very strong pedagogical foundation. It can't be about just technology, and that's usually one of the things I'll share when I'm doing my introductions before a presentation, is that, I didn't become an educational technology specialist because I was the biggest tech-hungry person. That wasn't me at all, but I was about making learning engaging and fun for students. And right now, tech is all over that, you know what I mean? But then it still has to be used purposefully. Like Sarah said, I can't just bring it in just to be bringing it in. You know what I mean? I think one of the segues for me even becoming a specialist, I was a former speech and debate teacher, and I remember writing a grant for some podcasting equipment, and I won the grant. And one of the big selling points for the grant committee was that, oh my gosh, you're going to record like your lesson content and make it available to your students away from your class? That was like a big idea, and that was back in like 2007, 2008. And so that was really a big thing for them. And so that kind of is what moved me into podcasting, which is one of my biggest technology things, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I ended up publishing an iBook on that topic, but it was because of what that technology could empower teachers to do. You know what I mean? It wasn't so much still about, ooh, podcasting is cool. Let's go get all this gear. Let's get some microphones. It was never about that. It was about reaching absent students. It was about giving students more opportunities to hear the lecture so that they could retain the information in that lesson, for that particular day or whatever. And so to me, it's always about the pedagogy and curriculum and standards first, and then authentic experiences. I think that was one of the nicest things I loved about my content area. I was an elective teacher. I wasn't a core subject, but I felt like my relevance as far as how they needed communication skills in the real world, it was just built right in. I didn't really have to draw up a lot of buy-in into the content area. It was just about bringing the energy, keeping the prize in front of them. I know Crystal mentions that a lot, keep the prize in front of them. And for them, it was about, hey, eventually you're going to need to work somewhere, and communication skills can be the difference between you moving really far in that occupation or that industry or not. And so I try to stay relevant by reading, following blogs, and I don't just follow tech stuff either. I'll read books on differentiation and differentiated instruction, and of course flipped learning, things like that, just to stay on top of pedagogy as well as content.
I just want to add one thing to that. Especially, exactly what Sarah and Rachel said, and I think for me, this will be my first year out of the classroom in about 5 years. So right now it's really fresh, and in order for it to stay that way is that at some point I need to get into classrooms, because I think after a while, when you get away from having the experience with children, because children change. Like the children that I taught last year were totally different than the children I taught 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And so you have to make sure that you spend some time in schools, if you're not in a school situation, or in classrooms, in order to make sure that the information that you're giving teachers is realistic. Because if it's not, and you then you fail to be relevant, and you're no longer heard, and that also means that you're no longer beneficial to anyone.
I just want to give a shout out to people who are giving us shout outs, because we are also live on Twitter. Ms. Barb, sending a shout out to you. We did get your tweet, and if anyone wants to be connected to our Google community, the POC and EdTech, the people of color in EdTech, if you would just give us a shout out or tag us under the hashtag, we will get you connected. We did have a question too. We will also tweet out everybody's Twitter handles so you can connect to us that way. Adrian sent a question, and she might have to re-ask it because I can barely see it. Adrian finds that she works in a predominantly white high school, and there are not very many teachers of color at that school, and she finds that she often goes to them when she needs assistance, and other teachers only want to work with her because they see that whatever the task has been accomplished. So I'm guessing she's asking for tips to, I guess, have a broader appeal maybe, or how to get other teachers to go beyond their comfort and try working with someone new. I think that's what she's asking, but if I'm wrong, Adrian, please feel free to ask that again. So does anyone have any tips about helping people get out of their comfort zone so they could have more interaction with diversity in their educational workplaces?
Are we talking about just being more diverse with people?
Well, I read it as to asking, what can I do as a minority teacher in a predominantly white workplace to help people become more comfortable or open to working with her?
Oh, okay, got it. So one of the things that I've done recently, remember I was telling you I was not a core teacher. I was an elective teacher. And so, in a sense, we can kind of get pushed back. We're not as important curriculum-wise sometimes. But what I've done recently is pay more attention to instructional strategies that relate to everybody. Digital storytelling is something that can work in no matter what content area you teach. Vocabulary strategies are something that can be taught in every content area you teach. And so as I begin to specialize in things like that and develop original presentations and trainings, create lesson plans and activities that are related to that, see, I can use that whether you're in math, you're in science, you're in social studies, you're in ELA, you can hit all people with that. And so it may help to start finding instructional strategies that can appeal to a wider group of teachers, do the heavy lifting, if you will. You know what I mean? I write out instructions and everything so that a teacher who wants to use one of those activities, all she needs is that handout and she can walk right through it and feel confident. So things like that I think help. So go with topics or instructional strategies that have broader appeal, and it may open the door to some. And hopefully as she works with a couple of them and they see success and see the benefit and support that she's offering, I think it'll spread to others.
Yeah, she clarified that she wanted to know how to basically, you answered her question. She wants to know how to get more people on board to expanding their circle to work together so they become more interactive and more diverse.
If I can address that, one of the things that before I got into the position that I was in, I was always one of these, how do you say token politely?
You say token?
I was one of the tokens on my campus. And I don't know that, I think that it was more of the intimidation factor than it was that they just wanted to stay away from me. I think there was an intimidation, and I had to show myself as being vulnerable and open to conversation. And being an introvert, it's very difficult for me to reach out to others. I can easily stay in my classroom and experience success without exposure to other people. So I had to step outside of my walls and go out to others and, and say, hey, I found this new tool. I'm learning it. You want to learn it together? Okay. Oh, let me show you something. This was so cool. And I thought I heard you saying you were doing it the other day, and just showing them how to do something, and it building up like as a, aha moment. So can I share something? The fake generic, but really excited, can I show you moment with them, and just letting them know that I love to learn and that I wanted to share it with them. And we began to communicate, and it became a joke, like, what'd you learn today, Crystal? What'd you learn today, Crystal? What'd you learn today? And I was okay with that, because eventually they started showing me what they learned, and that's how we began to communicate, and that's how I tore down the walls of the intimidated others, I would say.
I think I lost. Oh wait. So one of the things that, and I'm definitely not in a situation at my school or in my district where I'm in the minority, and I don't think I've ever been. So like I said, as I expand and grow as an educator, as a connected educator, then the world that I'm entering is totally different than the world that I have worked in for 17 years. But one of the things that my principal has allowed me to do, all of my principals have allowed me to do, is to find ways to share what I've learned, like maybe at faculty meetings. Like at my last school, my principal allowed me to do Tech Tuesdays. And so through that, then I was able to share my excitement and my knowledge for technology and learning. And then I put it out there, if you need my help, just call me, or, come by, send me an email, stop me in the hall, and just being open to help in an open format. And I think that that also helps you to build relationships with other people who you may not necessarily spend a lot of time with. Another thing that we did, or that I've always done, is like create opportunities to collaborate outside of school. I think a lot of it is relationship building with teams. So, our team may go out to eat lunch or to dinner together. I convinced my team to drive 5 hours with me to Atlanta to an ed camp, because right now that's the closest ed camp that we have. So like providing opportunities outside of school. Like I don't know if anyone has heard of Coffee Ed, and I don't drink coffee because my grandpa used to say that coffee makes you black. But just providing different opportunities for people to get together outside of like that workplace, and that sometimes can help to build relationships.
That's funny. Coffee makes you black.
That's what he told me, and he was black. So I don't drink coffee. I drink tea.
We have a pretty diverse audience with us today, and we have Steve from Canada. I actually lived in Canada for a little while, Steve. I lived in outside of Montreal and Dorval, and you are right. Ethnicity and racial things seem to be a little different above the border than down here in the States, and we are Connected PLN. We have people all over the world who are connected through various social media, and I guess that will leave us with the last question because we don't want to keep going till 4. Just put it out there. If you connect with one of us, either on Google or Twitter, we will make sure you get connected with our PLN. We are on Twitter as UnitEDtech, as United, UNITED Tech. The last question I have for the group then, for people who are interested in helping the cause of advancing and connecting people of color into educational technology so we are visible in these leadership roles, what can others do to support that cause? And anybody can take this.
Can I take that one?
Go ahead.
I just want to add a little blurb. I really love how South by Southwest EDU does their presentation applications. They will put it in the application. Like if you're doing a panel, it must be a diverse panel. And where are they diverse? Are they diverse and it's not just male up here? There are some females in the mix. Are they diverse in ethnicity? So I think we have to start changing the expectation and almost the planning part of the process. Look to reflect all learners, all people groups, all perspectives on an issue. And so if you're in the planning or coordinating of an event, look to diversify that event, as part of your planning process. And I don't think it's about meeting a quota of some type, because, I mean, as you'll find, as Cori kind of mentioned, when you connect with other people of color on Twitter, you'll see that we are almost still just as diverse in our areas of expertise. We have some that are experts in Google, some that are experts in mobile learning, some that are experts in math or science, you see what I mean? So there's still some diversity among your people of color that you can choose from, where you can find the perfect fit for a conference or an event or a guest speaker or a featured speaker at a conference. So just to just be purposeful and intentional about looking to diversify.
Anyone else?
I guess I'll piggyback off that. So definitely agree with what Rochelle just said. That is very true. Also, opening the lines for open and honest conversations is another thing that we can do. And someone brought to my attention, I'm just going to paraphrase a great statement that I heard. It's got to be more than conversation. It also has to be action. There has to be some meaningful purposeful action behind the conversations, because we can have these dialogues all day, but to really make change, then we got to take steps towards making that change. So that kind of ties into what Rochelle was saying just now about seeking to make sure that that these public spaces are representative of different types of diverse points of view by ethnicity, by gender, by location, by ideas. Just definitely walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
Anyone else with closing words before we go back to EdCamp Global and its awesomeness?
Yeah, I'd like to add on to what Rochelle and Sarah commented on as far as diversity, and bring in Regina's question, because she is a part of our PLN. It's important that we do diversify, and it's just as important that we advocate for people of color as it is that we educate our people of color. We're not entitled to anything because of our color, and some people will want or feel slighted from a position because of the color of their skin, but they haven't done the research, they haven't done the work, and they haven't read the books outside of technology as far as how has pedagogy advanced. So when Regina asked how do we balance our core work with advocating with POC, for people of color, I think that that's a two-way street. Yes, when we find someone that we feel is qualified for a position, we do advocate for them in that position, but we also need to mentor each other and help everyone increase their skills so that we are qualified for a position when we do decide to go after that position, not just because, oh, well, we need to meet a quota, but because I am the best person for the position, not because of what I look like in the mirror, but because of what I bring to the table and because of my conversation and my ability to implement what I plan. So I think that's one of the things that I continuously do, is that I focus on how am I going to change a child's life in the position I'm in. And the further away we get away from a child, that should be the leading piece of a conversation with anyone when it comes to diversity. How are you changing a child's life sitting in the position that you're in? Because that's what it's really about.
All right. Well, I want to release everyone to go find out what their next EdCamp Global activity will be. And I want to thank the organizers of EdCamp Global for letting us have this conversation, and we will keep the conversation going, especially if you're on Twitter. You can follow the hashtag POC EdTech, where you can connect with all of us. And there are many of us. Everybody couldn't be here today. We have men, women, different ethnicities, and we are connected, and together we are better. So I would like to thank my panelists, and I would like to say enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and probably will Vox with you later. Thanks everybody who tuned in, and hope to catch you again soon.
Put them pics up. Talk to you guys later.